Welcome to the Italian Wine Podcast. This episode is brought to you by Vinitaly International Academy, announcing the 24th of our Italian Wine Ambassador courses to be held in London, Austria, and Hong Kong from the 27th to the 29th of July. Are you up for the challenge of this demanding course? Do you want to be the next Italian Wine Ambassador? Learn more and apply now at vinitalyinternational.com.
Welcome to this special 5-star Wines and Wine Without Walls series on wine, food and travel with me, Marc Millon, on Italian Wine Podcast. For the next weeks, we will be focusing on a dozen trophy-winning wineries from the competitions that took place in Verona at the start of Vinitaly in early April. The winning wines are without doubt some of the very best that Italy has to offer. What I'm most interested in discovering are the stories behind the bottles, learning about the wines themselves, of course, and also about the people who make them, where they're from, what they eat, how they live. It's a fascinating journey that will take us all across Italy, and I hope you will join me. Welcome to Wine, Food and Travel with me, Marc Millon, on Italian Wine Podcast. In this special 5-star Wines and Wine Without Walls edition, I'm delighted to shine a spotlight on the wine estate of Cantina Federici, located on the southern seaboard of Liguria, virtually on the border with Tuscany. Cantina Federici has just won the Miglior Vino Rosato, the Best Rosé Wine Award, for its Vermentino Rosato Prima Brezza 2021 at the prestigious 5-star wines competition that took place in Vinitaly in April. My guest today is Dottore Luca Federici, who joins me from Luni, an historic town that is the home of Cantina Federici. Buongiorno, Luca. Many congratulations on this important award. Thanks for being my guest today. How are you?
Thank you, Mark. It's a pleasure for me to talk about my territory and my company.
Great. Well, first of all, for our listeners, can you tell us a little bit about where you are on this beautiful Ligurian coast? It's such a special area, and I want our listeners to be able to get an idea of where you are located and what's so special about the Colli di Luni.
Okay. My farm, Baia del Sole, of a Federici family, is located in the north of Italy, on the fair eastern part of Liguria, on the border with the Tuscany, and exactly in the middle between Genoa and Florence. The territory is characterized by a rich and varied countryside and is composed of green hill immersed in Mediterranean brush, hill covered by olive grove and vineyard, with a fortified village and close between the sea on the side and the Apuana Alp on the other. This is one of the most unique locations that seem very much born to the wine production. The proximity to the sea guaranteed us a mild climate and rich saline wine that rise to the north in the morning, and in the evening we have an excellent temperature range guaranteed by the cold wind that descend from the Apuana Alp that reach about 2,000 meters above sea level. The area offered a varied range of places to discovery, starting with the ruin of Luni, called the splendid Civitas, which is only 500 meters from our company, and within very easy to walking distance, and where is a possibility to visit the Roman Museum and the Roman amphitheater that took 2,000 years history for the wine production house in our area.
2,000 years of history of wine production. That's amazing. So Luni itself is a historic town. It was an important town for the Romans, wasn't it? And as you say, wines from the Colli di Luni have been appreciated and written about and drunk and exalted since the time of the Roman Emperor Augustus. So it's a lengthy period of history of wine in your area.
This is we have a very winemaking tradition really famous that Plinio Vecchio, the famous writer in our time, wrote that in his Natural Historia that the wine of Luni win the palm of the best in Etruria area. So very important document for the winemaking in our territory.
Well, that's an extraordinary patrimony, and I think that's one of the most interesting things about Italian wine is that we're discovering wines, and wines are being made by modern methods, but with histories that go back literally thousands of years. And we know that this landscape of vineyards and olive trees, olive groves that you've described, with the sea on one side glistening in the sunshine and the high mountains rising behind, is probably changed very little over all of this time.
Yeah, we are in a very really privileged location. We are less 1 kilometer from the sea, and about 1 hour from the up one half, and territory important with for the tourist when you can make a lot of shows. A few kilometers from a beautiful tourist resort of Liguria and Riviera, famous the most Golfo dei Poeti, Lerici, Porto Venere, famous Cinque Terre and Portofino, and in the other side, the luxury tourism are from the Forte di Marmi and the Tuscan city, such as Pisa and Florence. So for the tourists, we really have so many alternatives to shows to spend here the holidays and which very good wine and food.
Now, tell us a little bit about the family history of Baia del Sole. It's a business that your family have been farmers in this area for more than 100 years, so several generations now. Was that originally under the time of the Mezzadria?
Yeah, my family originally was born in Luni, in the heart of the Colli di Luni DOC. We have a long tradition of winemaking, which had been conserved and handed down from generation to generation. The actually company come about in 1985 from an intuition of the third generation from Giulio Federici, my father, and my mother Isa, through the upgrading an antique farmhouse, they decided to main concentrate on the cultivation of a typical kind of wine that came from this territory, such as Vermentino, and the production of a fine quality wine. For us, the viticulture is a family tradition that we follow as since we were born. We look and we sense experience the experience. We know how the ambassador of the culture of our territory, and this push us to take great care of the environment, clean and people to produce wine that are characterized by a unique sensation that know how to express the typical flavor of and aroma of the land it comes from. Today, the company arrived to the fourth generation with my brother Andrea, that is in charge for the commercial and agriculture side, and me. I follow the working of the wine cellar and the administrative side of the business. The production area of my farm is really modern. We keep with the last technology and use only use barric bottling line that they ensure the utmost care in the bottling of the wine. The new wine cellar is about 1,600 meters square. Was inaugurated in 2015, and it's built to blend with the surrounding countryside. was built and projected according to the principles of ecological design. The wine cellar, which together with the other three that the antique building represent the desire to reduce the environment impact and maxim, maximize the energy saving. The unique and particular shows to build under the sea level, because the wine cellar is under the sea level, aim to explore the natural stability of the and also the humidity and the temperature that is guaranteed by the water present all around the wine cellar.
Well, that's really interesting to hear how the family farm has evolved, and it's particularly in the last decades. The family, though, your family, the Federici family, have always been strong believers in this grape variety that you've mentioned, this important grape variety, Vermentino. It's something that is, we're finding more Vermentino wines available internationally now, and people are beginning to find and discover Vermentino. Tell us about Vermentino, why it's a special and unique variety, and how is Vermentino able to express its particular style and personality in the Colli di Luni?
Thank you for listening to Italian Wine Podcast. We know there are many of you listening out there, so we just want to interrupt for a small ask. Italian Wine Podcast is in the running for an award, the Best Podcast Listening Platform, through the Podcast Awards, the People's Choice. Listener nominations is from July 1st to the 31st, and we would really appreciate your vote. We are hoping our listeners will come through for us, so if you have a second and could do this small thing for us, just head to ItalianWinePodcast.com from July 1st to the 31st and click the link. We thank you, and back to the show.
Vermentino is very important grape variety in our territory. We plant it in two different areas. One is in the valley of the River Madra, in the proximity to the sea, and the territory is characterized by the soil and fraction mixed with the silt and sandy clay. And also in the north, in the hill, the soil on the hill has a height characterized by a lot of skeleton rich of soil with the natural element rock and pebbles. Vermentino for me is I call Vermentino a navigator grape because they need the sea for express the best sensation. And in our territory, we are very fortunate because we have the sea mm, and we are very close to the mountain. So it's the different Vermentino from the other part of Italy. And for me, this is one of the best territory for Vermentino.
Well, that's interesting because, as you're saying, Vermentino is one of those grape varieties that can express itself differently depending on the terroir, on the territorio. For example, Vermentino from the Pigato wines from the Riviera Ligure di Ponente, for example, or in Ruero, where the Vermentino is known as Favorita. And of course, Vermentino from Sardinia has a different style. And even in Provence, where the grape is known as Rôle, we're having different expressions depending on the microclimate, the soil, and all of these different factors. But I think that these Colli di Luni wines are very, very special. What would you say the characteristics are? This salinity from the sea air and a certain minerality coming from your area? How would you describe your style of Vermentino?
I think is that you see the best characteristic. So the typical aromatic and the first taste is with a little fruit, with a yellow flesh, apple, and with a lot of also flower sensation, and the ending with a lot of mineral and at the taste is a very good balance from acidity and very good structure and for me very personal, a lot of personality and elegant final mineral taste.
Well, let's turn now to the wine that won your five-star wines trophy, the Vermentino Rosato Prima Brezza 2021. Now, this wine is produced from a grape I myself have not encountered before, Vermentino Nero. Is this actually a biotype of Vermentino, or is it a completely different grape variety?
Is a completely different variety. The name is similar, but really different variety. Was born from the research of an old grape, Vermentino red grape, that was missing in our territory because of its difficulty vegetation. But some farmers have invested and bet for a new life for this variety. This is currently cultivated only in the area of La Spezia, in the border with Tuscany, and in the first meter of Tuscany in Massa Carrara. Um, we are very, very proud, very happy to win with this particular grape because our farm we work with Vermentino in a different method. For the Vermentino white wine, we make also a particular spumante from with the classic method, and also we make a passito wine from Vermentino. So, and in the last 10 years, also Vermentino in rosé type, making in the land, in the border with our farm, all around the city of Luni. And for this vinification, we have a very careful selection of the grape. We make a soft pressing with the use of only Florence flow with the juice. We cooling at about 10, 12 degree and for the natural sedimentation. And after we make a fermentation at with the control temperature at 16, 17 degree for 15 days. And after resting another 30 days with nabiness. And the particularity of our rosato is the color. It's a little more important color. We prefer to stay some hour more in the contact with the skin and juice.
So, not a pale rosato, but much fuller in color. My colleagues, in particular, my fellow podcaster, Cynthia Chaplin, who is an expert in Rosato wines and a great lover of Rosato wines, has told me about this wonderful wine, how she was so impressed with it when she tasted it at Vinitaly, and she said she's not at all surprised that it won the trophy. So complimenti.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Now, Luca, can we turn to the foods of Liguria and to how they pair with your wines? Vermentino is a terrific wine to enjoy with the wonderful seafood of the Tyrrhenian coast. Can you give us maybe a few examples of some of the piatti tipici, the sort of foods that people will enjoy when they come to the Colli di Luni?
Absolutely. We have a lot of seafood dish, such as the mushrooms raised right here in the Gulf of La Spezia, that we call muscoli. And very, very good combination.
Oh, wonderful. That sounds great.
We have the anchovies from Monterosso, the acciughe from Monterosso, the octopus from Tellaro style with that we cooking with the potatoes and the Tajasca olive. The classic seafood, sea bream and sea bass. And also we have the famous pesto alla Genovese.
Of course.
Yeah, we can cooking excellent pasta. The most famous is a trophy, and with the pesto we can create a lot of combination with the vermentino grape variety.
And of course, the pine nuts and the Parmigiano Reggiano, I guess, would be the cheese, or would it be a local cheese? This wonderful emulsion that is made to go over Trofie. Trofie, a small handmade pasta, a little twisted spiral. Is that correct?
Yes, it's correct. Are very famous in our territory is cooking with pesto, but also with the seafood. And also we are in the border with Tuscany, so we have also the Tuscany cooking influence. We have testaroli from
Ah,
Lunigiana, and we have farinata, a delicious, delicious low golden savory cake made from
the chickpeas, the ceci.
ceci. Ceci in our territory in La Spezia are very famous farinata.
Oh, I love the farinata. I think the farinata sliced straight out of an oven with a glass of vermentino is one of the great food and wine combinations.
Yes, also we have a focaccia, famous focaccia ligure. And for the first, we have the panzotti, panzotti. There are ravioli filled with the vegetable and usually topped with an excellent walnut sauce.
Oh, walnut sauce.
Yeah, yeah.
Very interesting. And what wine would you have with the panzotti?
With Panzotti, for me, I have a wine mixed with Vermentino and Albarola. Is another local grape.
Albarola.
Yeah, and with a good aromatic sensation, little more fruited, and stay very well with Panzotti.
That sounds delicious. What about the prize-winning Rosato, the Vermentino Rosato Prima Brezza? What would be for this medium-bodied, full in color Rosato? What would you most enjoy eating with this wonderful wine?
Yeah, I can say for me, we have a Ligurian style rabbit.
Ah,
It's a second course typical of Liguria, but no throughout Italy. It's prepared with Tajasca olives, herbs, and pine nuts. And the rabbit is mixed also with red or white wine for cooking sometimes. And for me, also rosato you can use also for cooking and after to drink.
that sounds fabulous. And actually, it's a reminder with the of the herbs and the foods from the hills and the mountains, not just the seafood of Liguria. This nice mix in the cucina between the hills, the mountains, and the seaside. Luca, it's been a real pleasure meeting you today, learning the story of Baia del Sole, the Cantina Federici winery in southern Liguria, almost on the border with Tuscany, hearing about the dedication to the Vermentino grape and to your sustainable approach to viticulture, and as well celebrating this wonderful trophy that you've won for the Rosato, Vermentino Rosato. You've also introduced our listeners to this special corner of Liguria that is perhaps not so well known, but which certainly deserves a visit. So I hope people listening to us today will find a way to visit and to seek out the Baia del Sole wine estate and to taste your wines at the source. Thank you very much for being my guest today. I really appreciate it, and I hope that I can come and see you soon and taste your wonderful wines. Grazie.
Grazie mille. Thank you very much, Mark. I wait you in my company and all tourists that want to know my territory.
Thank you very much. A presto.
A presto.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Italian Wine Podcast, brought to you by Vinitaly Academy, home of the gold standard of Italian wine education. Do you want to be the next ambassador? Apply online at vinitalyinternational.com for courses in London, Austria, and Hong Kong, the 27th to the 29th of July. Remember to subscribe and like Italian Wine Podcast, and catch us on SoundCloud, Spotify, and wherever you get your pods. You can also find our entire back catalog of episodes at ItalianWinePodcast.com.
Hi guys, I'm Joy Livingston and I am the producer of the Italian Wine Podcast. Thank you for listening. We are the only wine podcast that has been doing a daily show since the pandemic began. This is a labor of love and we are committed to bringing you free content every day. Of course, this takes time and effort, not to mention the cost of equipment, production, and editing. We would be grateful for your donations, suggestions, requests, and ideas. For more information on how to get in touch, go to ItalianWinePodcast.com.